This lens is the TT Artisan 10mm APS-C lens for Sony. You can also get it for Canon, Nikon and Fuji, but I'm using it here on the Sony ZV-E10 II, and it's a fantastic little combo. But I'm telling you in this video why this little lens is possibly one of the best budget lenses you can get for shooting real estate video. Obviously you can use it for many other purposes, shooting landscapes, architecture, etc. But I'm going to be talking specifically about real estate video and why I think this is just such a fantastic option at the price. But let's kick the video off with a few examples of what I've been shooting recently with this lens so you can get an idea of what it can do. So let me know what you think of what you've just seen in the comments below, but in my mind, I think this does a fantastic job. And combined with this little Sony ZV-E10 Mark II, you can see here just how small and compact this setup is. And that's why I wanted to show it on this camera, because one of the things I really value when I'm shooting out and about on my jobs is just having something that's small and lightweight so I can get about easy, because I'm often shooting photos and video on one shoot, and if you've watched many of my videos before you'll understand how much I value that, having a nice easy lightweight setup to carry around the properties, especially when I'm doing photos and video. And this really does manage that. Look at the size of this lens here. I mean, it's a pretty good build quality too though. Still, it's made of metal, so it's pretty solid, and in terms of specs, it is an f2 aperture, and it's an manual focus lens. So it's not autofocus. That might put a few people off. And to be honest, it kind of almost did for me initially, but I thought I'd try it out because I'd been using autofocus before to shoot video and I'd had it set on autofocus and actually found it not that great, because when you're going from one scene to the next, like going through doorways, whatever, it would sometimes get that focus breathing in and out when it was trying to catch focus, and it wasn't always focusing on what I wanted it to be focused on. So actually having a manual focus lens has really benefited me. And what I've actually found with for shooting real estate, you can pretty much just set this, as you can see here, on the infinity or thereabouts, and pretty much everything's going to be in focus, because when you're shooting real estate, most of the time you're shooting pretty wide. And so having that infinity focus is absolutely fine. And if you're going to be doing detailed shots, you're probably going to be using a like shorter focal length, like a 15mm anyway, to get those. So you're probably going to swap the lens. So shooting on that infinity focal, infinity focus is absolutely fine for shooting real estate, I found. So one of the main reasons why I think this lens is so good for real estate is because of that wide focal length. It's 10mm. So obviously it's a APS-C lens, so you're going to get that crop factor. So when you compare that to full frame, it's like 15mm. So that's absolutely bang on for shooting real estate, because you want a nice wide field of view to get the whole room in. And the other big factor for this lens is it's really fast. It's an f2 aperture, as I've just mentioned. So again, that's another really good thing for shooting real estate video, because often, especially here in the UK, you're shooting in some real dim light situations. So to have that wide aperture that you can use is absolutely perfect. And the third great factor about this lens is there's very little distortion. When you think you've got a lens this wide, like 10 millimeters wide, you'd think you'd be getting a lot of warping around the edges, but I'll put some more examples on the screen now and hopefully you saw them in that, but there's very little distortion. And to get that with a lens this wide at this price, which I'm going to go into in a minute, is absolutely fantastic. So in regards to prices I've just mentioned, here in the UK you can get this lens for just, it's about £170, and it's just incredible value, especially if you can kind of compare it against like full frame equivalents. I know obviously we're talking about the APS-C line of lenses here, which are always cheaper, but part of the reason I switched to shooting APS-C was because of this reason, because you could get so many fantastic lenses at such a cheap, affordable price, and they are really good now. Like often it was the case, like a few years back probably, that you get lenses in this price range and they just were nowhere near as good. But the detail on this lens as well, it's really crisp and sharp. I'll put some more examples on now. And another great thing with this lens, you get the real good like starring when you've got the lights, or maybe you've got the sun stars as well, and it does a really good job of that. So there's lots to like about this lens, I think. Another great thing about this lens, which is a real bonus as well, is that you get this detachable lens filter ring, which you can screw on here like so, and it comes with its own little lens hood, so you can keep it on it all the time if you want to. You pop that off, and then you put your lens filter on there. And I've got one here which I'm going to show you now from KNF Concept, so I'm just going to do a quick cut now while I fix that on. So I hope you can see that now. I've got the KNF Concept variable ND filter here. It's actually it's got 9 stops, a variable ND filter, this one, and it retails for about £70 here in the UK. And like I say, it's just amazing that for the price you can get this filter on it, because a lot of lenses that are like this wide often have that bulbous front, and this does have that, and that's why they've put this little attachment on, so that you can then get the filters on the front, which is just a great little bit of design, which I mean you don't get in a lot of more expensive lenses. So for that price, this is just fantastic. Like you can see here, you can see the variable there. And so that just makes it great for when you're shooting those bright conditions, especially when you're shooting outside and you might be able not be able to stop down far enough. Then you can just tweak your variable ND filter and just carry on shooting. Absolutely fantastic. I know I've just gone on about how fantastic this little lens is, but I guess we've got to talk about a few of the drawbacks too. One of them is that it's not weather sealed. I mean, this isn't a deal breaker for me because mainly I'm shooting interior, so I'm inside, so I don't have to worry about the weather. But obviously here in the UK, it does have a tendency to rain quite a lot. So there are occasions where I have got caught out in the rain a bit, and obviously you don't want to risk it too much if it isn't weather sealed. But again, like I say, not a deal breaker for me. For some people, the fact that it's a manual focus lens might not be to everyone's liking. So in that case, you might look at an autofocus lens, and there's one that's actually also just recently come out, which is the Viltrox 9mm, I think it's f2.8 lens, and that retails for £190 here in the UK. It's absolutely fantastic value, and Viltrox have been bringing out some amazing lenses, a couple that I've got. And these lenses are just getting so amazing at such an affordable price range now, because of companies like TT Artisan and Viltrox. So you don't always need to look at those premium brands. These lenses are really doing a good job now and offer a lot. But like I say, if you don't like the manual focus of this lens, then yeah, do look at that Viltrox lens, and it's one that I do want to get. So let me know if you do have that one and you tried it out, and also let me know if you've got this lens and if you've tried it out and what your thoughts are. But there really isn't many drawbacks to this lens in my opinion. So in all, I just think this lens is absolutely fantastic for the price. So let's just go through a few of those key points again. Number one, by the price, like I keep banging on about, it's £170 here in the UK. It's obviously very wide, it's 10mm, so that's like a 15mm full frame equivalent, perfect for shooting real estate with. It's got that f2, so it's really fast, so it's really bright, so it's great for shooting dim light situations, so you're not having to crank the ISO and you can get good super sharp detail with this lens. And then to top it off, it just comes with this fantastic little lens filter attachment, so you can attach sort of filters like this variable ND filter. But in all, I just think this It's such a good lens for the money. So if you are a real estate videographer or even just photographer, because it worked for photography as well, then definitely check out this lens, because at this price point, you're not really going to lose out too much. But I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you're not a subscriber yet, why not? Please do subscribe, and I hope you've enjoyed that, and I'll see you all in the next one.